Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are jumping in and rejoining our supply module Charlie, as it is about to make its approach to Harmonia Station in low Mars orbit. There were some tiny corrective burns because I fell asleep at the switch and overshot that first intercept that we set up last time. So, yeah, it took a couple more laps and a couple more quick taps on the AJ-10 to get it where it is today, and you'll see the pause in the things running due to the load distance and trying to render in Harmonia Station in all of its absolute glory. But this is our burn to correct for our relative velocity, so we're just cutting it off a little sooner than normal. We are going to come into about 70 some odd meters of the station on our current course, and there she is, sort of. I'm trying to see if I can target this docking port where I would like to park this thing, but it is to no avail. We still are way too far away, and so we'll just coast in using some thruster power to help bleed off some of the speed before we fire up the AJ-10 one more time to get rid of a good chunk of the rest of it. And then it's going to be about trying to push ourselves in a little closer to the station. That is actually the docking port where we would like to park this thing on the solar panel arm of our research laboratory. So we'll just get ourselves turned around and start to head toward it. For half a second, I thought about trying to park on the back end of the tug module docked there to the habitat section of Harmonia Station, but decided against it because I'm pretty sure this poor thing just isn't going to fit. Thing was not designed to accept this style of resupply module. Yeah, those engines are clustered entirely too close together, so we'll just make a quick tap on the thrusters to make sure we don't plow into the station. There is our other Guppy resupply module currently docked. Still has some food and water in it, so that's why we haven't gotten rid of it yet, because the rest of the station is completely topped off. So there's our docking port. Trying to do this one axis at a time. We'll try to correct for some of our velocity before making an about face. That, of course, throws it all into whack. But a little bit of thruster power will help us along here. And then it's just a matter of trying to bring this in for a nice, smooth, easy docking, which is not my forte, really. I'm always scraping some paint off of these things. You know, they're durable, they're docking ports. I would hope the engineering team knows that I'm going to scrape some paint and would thus layer the paint appropriately. Anyway, we are on our final approach now to our docking port, having zeroed most everything out. Still a little bit of drift, but we're just going to let that happen and let ourselves get lined up. And then it's just a matter of switching between different camera angles, checking for our alignment, and checking to see which way the space station drifts for us so that we know which way to tap those thrusters. But our approach here is looking pretty good. Just a little bit of off angle, but I think the magnets on the docking port will be more than enough to account for that. I mean, here's hoping anyway. But slow and steady is how you do it at appropriate docking. So we'll just let it be nice, slow, and steady. And there's contact, and here's old me to be happy about it. Smooth as butter. Gotta love it. Alright, well, we have another interesting issue. I guess I should have left this attached to the bottom of the science lab, although I don't think those docking ports protruded quite far enough. But yeah, we have one available docking port, and we have the lander and, of course, the Artemis that need to still dock to this thing. So I was really hoping to get rid of this guppy. It still has a little bit of food, a lot of bit of water, but no fuel. So I think we're going to, hopefully we'll dock the Artemis first, because it will have lots of room for life support supplies that can be transferred over. Everything over here is, of course, full with all the things that it can be full of. Oh, that is empty of, yeah, except fuel. We have, where did I move all the fuel? I probably centralized it. It's been a long time since I have been out here. But I think this tug module is probably going to be deorbited. Yeah, that's probably where I pushed all the fuel, is into that main tank. But no worries there. All right, well, we have to go out and make a quick check on the Artemis. We will F5 and hope that all of this stays together. This is quite discombobulated. I would really like to get rid of this thing, but I'm going to wait until we have a crew on board, because otherwise the whole docking and undocking and everything takes, the 6-minute power delay, all this other silly stuff. I guess, I don't know, if we have one of these attached, we really don't need this, but it is completely full. We have no shortage of life support supplies for our crew coming out here to Harmonia Station. We just have a lot of things attached to it. And a lab now, which is good. Anyway, we need to go check on Artemis. Alright, well, here is our fearless crew of the Artemis 4M. And, yeah, their orbit should be... Oh, no, their periapsis is not set. How long till their node? 52 minutes. Perfect. This worked out really well. Oh, yeah, that's... What? Oh, I guess that's our resultant ascending node. And we'll also adjust our periapsis. Let me just make sure we got fuels opened up. Yes, we do. This tank should be empty. I'm pretty sure I remember doing that. Yes, excellent. 7.3 meters per second, not bad. We probably will not waste an ignition on that. Let's just go ahead and get around to our node. Alright, we're a minute 21. Go ahead and get ourselves rotated into position here. Oh, let's arm RCS. That might help our cause a little bit. Oh, it's so nice having lots of really powerful thrusters. You can turn on a dime. Alright, and this should also bring our periapsis up to a reasonable level. We are going to aerobrake a little bit in Mars' atmosphere, but of course just the very upper parts of the atmosphere. We ditched our heat shield, so, then there's that. But I'm really sure they're all very thankful to be alive. That's the core of it, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, is it really wasting an ignition? We have 32 of them left. I don't know, it's 3.8 meters per second. It is wasting an ignition. I guess this really doesn't lift our periapsis very much. I guess we'll just have to set another node for apoapsis and redo it there. This is going to be wonky, but nope, that is actually increasing our relative inclination. Let's back this up just a bit. 3, 2, 1. Nope, 2, 1. Hey, dead zero. I'll take it. RCS disarm. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. We have another node set for 0.8 meters per second. Yeah, I did. Good for me. That is in 4 days. Oh, good gravy. Excellent. Alright, well then I guess we don't have much of a choice but to save and go check on the lander. Because we got 4 days to do that. That's 4 days from here, so that's going to be another 4 days. That's 8 days total. That's probably another 2 days. Maybe, if that. Might only be just a couple of hours, honestly. What's our time to periapsis? That would be a good thing to check. 8 days, 14 hours. Okay. Not bad. So let's bring up Kerbal Alarm Clock and let's get this lander in orbit, shall we? Alright, Kerbal Alarm Clock, you can go away. Here's our Mars lander. It still has its transfer stage, which is likely completely untouched. Oh, good. All 5 AJ-10s are active. That is good. 1,500 meters per second. That will take 9 minutes to burn off. So let's just go ahead and time warp around and get this little guy into Mars SOI. And then we will worry about the rest from there. Yeah, we're on a collision-y course. That's probably not good. we should add maneuver. I'm just going to use this as a reference point and do this right away and instantly. Let's just get ourselves a periapsis, 23 kilometers. That's probably a bit ambitious. So we need to get rid of this transfer stage before we hit Atmos. So we're going to try to burn all of it off. That's 1,500 meters per second slower that we'll be coming in, but we are already going 9.036 kilometers per second. We're going to hit fast, and we are just as heavy, if not heavier, than the Artemis. So, but we will have a 1,500 meter per second braking force applied to us, I guess. We do have infinite ignitions on those AJ-10s. Maybe I should just light those up. Oh, that's 47 kilometers. That's a bit much. Oops. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to come in the yeah, about the 20s range or so, 28 maybe. Because like I said, yeah, we're gonna have that 1,500 meters per second of free braking. All right, so we should hit atmosphere like here-ish. So we'll just add maneuver. Actually, you know what? No, we're just going to go ahead and put this right on the periapsis. What happened? Okay. Add maneuver, add maneuver. How much braking are we going to need to do here? Lots. Extra lots. Lots and lots. Okay, then. That's a good capture. Ooh. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool if we could just do this and have a close approach? That's about what we're looking for. 6,600 meters per second in 17 hours. Alright, well. This should be fun, right? So that... God, does that stage off? That shouldn't stage off the heat shield, right? Great time to stutter. Oh, good. Wait, thank you, KSP. Oh yeah, that does ditch the heat shield. Oh boy. Okay then. So that is probably the decoupler I'm looking for. Goodness, I hope. Oh, we gotta do all this with a stupid time delay. Alright, let's just double check here. Yeah, that's the one that ditches the heat shield. So that's the one we need. I'm just going to bring your info up because I don't trust the staging menu. Not even one little bit. Alright, so. Time to think. Let's assume we're going to hit Atmo 1 minute before the node. You can go away for right now, Rendezvous Planner. I need local control, it says. Oh, do I get the benefit of having a capsule on board because awesomeness? Let's... Was I dumb and only put one set of comms on here? Yeah, good for me. Good job. Alright. 17 hours, 30... We'll just say 27, Mike. I need you to shut down this. Oh, hey, look at that. We do not need to worry about Flight Computer. We can do this all manually. That is fantastic. Thank God I didn't try to program in that decouple with that being a thing. That would have been absolutely tragic in a lot of ways. All right, so let's time warp on in, I guess. All right, 14 minutes out. This looks like a good place to start doing this. Let's. How much battery do we have? We need to start facing to retro. Electric charge is topped, so we're going to go ahead and retract these. And deactivate our comms. Alright, we need to be a little above periapsis because we are coming in way low. How did that happen? I guess trying to rotate the spacecraft. There we go, and ignition. Good light on all 5 AJ-10s. Oh boy. Why are you leaning? Stop leaning. Yeah, the leaning is mostly due to pilot error. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, so this braking burn is necessary for a number of reasons. One, because I went with a design I typically don't like, which is the heat shield at the bottom of the spacecraft, necessitating that we get rid of our transfer/corrective stage before we enter the atmosphere, which is not typically something I do because it's really inconvenient, and it's nice to have that transfer stage to help keep you fueled for docking, or if Aero-Capture fails, and you've got some Delta V left in that thing, you can use it for a propulsive capture or to clean up the orbit so you don't have to spend a million years doing very slight aerobraking maneuvers to lower your orbit. No big deal. But in this case, we were approaching very fast, and this thing is very heavy. It's similar weight to the Artemis itself, a nice 2-stage crewed lander for 2 crew to descend to the surface, do some sciencey things, and then come back up. They do tend to be beefy. We had to have a separate launch for our initial Mars landing like 10 years ago, so it was no surprise that we'd have to repeat the process this time. But also using this as an opportunity to kind of ballet our periapsis a little closer to something that I thought might be appropriate. I would probably guess wrong, or I would second guess myself, but we'll get to that later. We did, of course, have to run the engines entirely dry. Not a big surprise, but just making sure that we're keeping the rest of our fuel topped off, because it's going to do more good for us later than it is just to get put out the back right this very second. So no big surprises there either. And I think honestly, for anything in the future that needs to aero brake or aero capture, I'm going to stick with my more traditional, less traditional design of heat shield on top, engine on bottom. And that way you can keep or discard what you want as you need to, and not be forced into silly situations like this one, where we're kind of walking the wire on our approach to Mars, trying desperately to fight against gravity in hopes that we won't die violently in a fire as we streak through the atmosphere. Anyway, here's old me. Alright, that's engine flame out. Let's, God, I hope this works. Stage. Nothing. Actually, that might be a blessing in disguise. Let's reframe the argument just a little bit here. How long do we have? 5 minutes until we hit our periapsis. Okay. Unlock fuels. Stage. Perfect. Alright, and let's get back pointing to retrograde. Oh boy. Okay. So far so good. Let's take a quick save. And just hope that 31.84 kilometers is enough. I don't know. I don't know if it is. Dang it, I hit quick save again. I am so stupid. And well, that might be a bit of an understatement. So we're going to jump right out here to the map view real quick. And bring our node back up. We're going to create a new one. Just to more accurately measure how much we need to bleed off to capture into a reasonable orbit. It looks like it's about our bare minimum, 4.1 kilometers per second. And at 31 kilometer altitude, given our tonnage, I'm not 100% it's going to be enough. So we're going to try to use these thrusters and brake ourselves a little bit more, or just point straight down towards the atmosphere and try to lower that periapsis as much as we can in what little time we have. Goodbye transfer stage. It was very nice knowing you. Hopefully we'll also be far enough away from that thing when we hit Atmo to where it won't come careening into us and cause all sorts of other problems. That would be fun. But I should have just taken the exact same periapsis that we took with the Artemis, seeing as how our tonnage is the same, our heat shield is probably about the same diameter-wise. That would have been another good thing to keep an eye out for. But there's our thunk. We are actually in the atmosphere, and we need to be facing somewhat to retrograde. I'm going to try to angle the heat shield as down as I can. Of course, aerodynamic forces are just not going to let that be a thing. So the fire and fury builds up. I don't know what the tolerances on those landing legs are, but they exceed the ones of those struts, which are popping out and going absolutely crazy. Tried to induce a little bit of roll to help mitigate for heat warnings, to no real avail. Odd as they were, I think I was having a little bit of glitchiness on the heat menu, because they just went straight to overheat but never popped, unlike those struts that were destroyed almost instantly. And as we start rising again through the atmosphere, we are still not captured, and this is a problem. We kind of need this lander to be here, and yeah, had I designed it differently, I'd still have engines that were not the ones that we were planning on landing on attached to us. But we will try to jettison that heat shield. It will, of course, get stuck, because that's the way things go. We'll just give it a spin and then try to fire the decoupler instead of just the heat shield jettison. Light up 2 of our lunar descent engines. These have 5 ignitions apiece, but I think their ISP is a little lower than their standard 3 ignition counterparts, but we do know that they have limited runtime. Oh boy, do they. So that's why we're only using 2 of them right now, is if we tax out 2 of these engines on the way down, we should still have 2 that have not been exposed to so much runtime. There's our camera change. We are captured. We're just going to go ahead and shut these engines down. That was inconvenient, and I did not like it. Not one little bit. But we're going to just relocate a little bit of our fuel. We'll try to keep that bottom cone tank locked. We are going to try to just get some more balance around the thrusters, but there's our current course. So when we get out there, we'll need to make a small bump on the RCS thrusters to make sure that we are not careening back into the atmosphere. So that's a good long time from now, about 12 days, which is nice. It gives us plenty of time to get back out to the Artemis, hopefully get it docked, and clear up a docking port for this thing to come rendezvous with us. We'll just get it as much into a prepped configuration as we can. And that's going to do it for this episode. Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.